Hi there, my name is Ken Irvine. I'm the Education Coordinator at Guelph Museums, and I'd like to tell you the story of Guelph's first hanging in the year 1847. Many of us think of Guelph as a welcoming and peaceful city, and this has not always been the case. When Guelph was less than 20 years old, there were frequent confrontations between some of the Catholic and Protestant families who lived here, with many reports of violence and suspected arson. In the year 1843, news arrived in Guelph that an Irish Catholic reform leader was released from prison. This was celebrated by Catholics with a bonfire in downtown Guelph, but some anti-Catholic Orangemen threatened a bigger bonfire the next day. Mysteriously, the next night, Guelph's first painted building, St. Patrick's Catholic Church, burned down. Over the next 4 years, the local magistrates fined and arrested dozens of men for fighting, rioting, and mischief. The church fire definitely heated things up until tensions erupted in the year 1847. On Arimosa Road, right here, lived two of the feuding families, the Catholic Coughlins, who lived near the corner of Arimosa and Watson Road, and the Protestant Olivers, who lived further up Arimosa Road. Just up Arimosa Road here. The sons of these families lived, and they were regularly fighting and harassing each other. The tensions erupted on March 23rd near the Bullfrog Inn, which is near today's Bullfrog Mall. And the Bullfrog Inn is just behind me. Armed with clubs, two of the Coughlin boys came upon two of the Oliver boys who were returning from downtown Guelph on a sleigh with provisions. In a quick fight, the Coughlins got the better of the Olivers. William Oliver was stunned by a blow to the head and returned to his sleigh to continue heading for home with his brother Richard. The Coughlins followed. The road was rough with patches of snow, and the horses were struggling to pull the sleigh up Arimosa Hill. Richard Oliver got off the sleigh and walked. In the meantime, a third Coughlin brother, Charles, joined his brothers and became the lead pursuer. And as he neared the Oliver's sleigh, Richard Oliver stopped and asked him what Coughlin wanted. Charles replied, "I'll soon let you know why I'm following you." He then pulled out a long pointed knife and stabbed Richard Oliver in the chest. Richard staggered and fell into the sleigh. The proprietor of the Bullfrog Tavern, James Gay, right here, he witnessed much of what happened, and he locked the doors to his tavern in case the fight moved indoors. But by the time the Oliver sleigh pulled up to their home, Richard was dead. His brother returned to Guelph to secure a warrant for the Coughlin brothers' arrest. The three Coughlin brothers then went into hiding, and Guelph constables and some volunteers went searching for the accused. They were eventually found on a friend's farm and led to jail. The county coroner determined the cause of death to be from a single stab wound. Charles Coughlin was charged with first-degree murder, and this infuriated the Catholic population. But to no one's surprise, Irish Protestant judge Dr. William Clark found Charles guilty of murder and ordered him to be hanged. The local papers wrote about the severity of the verdict and the miscarriage of justice. Unsuccessful petitions were sent to the government to commute the sentence to life in prison. But on July 1st, 1847, just behind me here, over 1,500 people gathered in front of the county courthouse to watch Guelph's first hanging. Standing on the gallows, Charles spoke to the gathered crowd for over half an hour, asking for forgiveness and told his friends not to seek revenge. He spoke bitterly about Judge Clark for what he considered his one-sided justice. Then a hood was placed over Charles' head, the drop was cut, and he died almost instantly. After the hanging, over 500 people attended Charles' funeral at St. Bartholomew's Church. Problems didn't end with the hanging. The contractor who built the gallows had his house mysteriously catch fire. And then one evening in August, the Wellington Mill, which was owned by Judge Clark, was set on fire. A reward of over £1,000 was offered to catch the arsonist, but no one was ever caught. The population of Guelph may have decided that enough was enough. Dr. Clark left the court and focused his attention on his business. And it seemed that the hanging was a tipping point. In the years after, things seemed to calm down in Guelph, and Guelph returned to being a quiet and peaceful town. There were still 5 hangings held in Guelph and 4 other executions. The last hanging was in 1889 of William Harvey, and the last execution was in 1919. Thank you for listening to the story of Guelph's first hanging and hearing about some of the religious intolerance in Guelph's history. If you you think we've learned from our past? Or do you think we still have some work to do?